Hello everyone, this is Bentley, and today we're doing episode 14 of Tank of the Week, and we're going to start going through the grow racks behind me. We're in the fry room, the grow room, and I think we're going to start with the most obvious colored up guys we have, and even though I have to shoot this at night to prevent some glare on these tanks, and you can even see it behind me how much glare is in here with the lights on normally, you're still going to see color of these in the guys. So at night, when the color's gone, and yet still got some color in this fish. So let's go into this tank and check out the Chalatherina aleni Wappogas. So here we are in the tank, and aside from a sponge that really needs to be cleaned, it'll be water change day tomorrow. We're doing this the night before. This is where the two mystery rainbows that came from Aquarium Co-op, which I've told the story, but I'll do it real briefly. There were a few fry swimming around in one of the plant tanks that had been attached to a plant that came in from a customer. They thought it was me originally, but I was pretty confident it wasn't based on the plant. So Robert asked me to take them home and just kind of figure out what they are and raise them up, because the SAEs would have ate them otherwise. And then there are two aleni Wappogas in here. That's a Chalatherina species. The male is like losing his mind. I almost want to change my starting point here. Come on, boy. There he is. He's like sitting in the corner, but you can see even at night he's showing a little bit of color, a little bit of that yellow, a little bit of that blue. But he definitely would, for some reason, is terrified of the camera. But anyway, this is really simple. I've got some floating water wisteria. There's a bag of crushed coral. Otherwise, this tank is bare bottom. This is how I keep most of my raising tanks for rainbows. Long term, I'll make some small changes to these. Like, I'll paint the bottoms of them as I empty them or move different fish around. I think I'd rather have a black painted bottom, and I might even paint the sides. The backs are black, but I think painting some of the other stuff will help just overall get these rainbows to show better color. You can see not a lot of color being shown here in these tanks. But that's okay. These are really just designed to raise them up, get them some size, and determine which ones are going to be the most viable, because every once in a while you'll get rainbows that aren't in great shape. As far as, some kind of genetic defect or something. I'm a big softie. I usually keep those fish, but they wouldn't be good for breeding or for selling, things like that. So I've got the pair in here, and I do have another larger pair that I'll be breeding here relatively soon. So I'll have two pairs that I'm collecting mops from. I won't keep them together because the male from the other pair is much larger and very aggressive when it comes to holding his territory. So that's actually why I'm getting a hold of the fish. A friend who has it, he has been quite the bully except for that one female. So they're going to come to me for breeding purposes, and so they don't keep basically endlessly chasing fish in the same tank. So those mystery rainbows are going to come out. They're going to go just kind of a couple tanks down to finish growing out and figure out what they are. They look like some kind of Chalatherina species, but I can't really tell. I think they're both female, just looking at their fin pattern, and they're not really showing any color whatsoever. So they could be any number of different species. But this is it. I mean, the tank is super simple. All of these raising tanks are going to get some changes here shortly. Just fish are going to move to different places for grow out, and some other fish will be here to breed specifically in these tanks, and then other tanks will be there to raise up fry. So, with the exception of the newest pairs of rainbows that I got at AGA from Gary Lang, basically every rainbow that is in my raising tanks is going to be moving here relatively soon. And you'll see that, like, next week's Tank of the Week, I'll be featuring another one of these tanks, and you'll see all those fish right before they move and after they move, and hopefully they will color up the way I think they will after the move, and you'll get to see the boys really showing off a little bit of their color, because they're dynamite fish. But for the Alenis, this boy shows his color in here pretty regularly. He likes trying to spawn with this female, and I think if I get the other two out and get a mop in there, I can start collecting eggs off of them. So this one's going to be really simple. There's not a lot to talk about in this tank other than, long term, how would I change my rainbow system? And I think that's going to be a completely different video just because I want to be able to talk a little in depth because I think based on some of my own observations and things that I've learned in my kind of journey raising rainbow fish and trying to breed them, some successfully, some not so successfully, I just want to give you guys the best advice, because if you decide you want to try breeding rainbows, I want you to learn from my mistakes and my successes too, because I've had some successes as well. So with that being said, we'll jump back to my face. This is a super easy tank of the week, but trust me, you're going to get to see when that other big male comes in, I get to see their color full in breeding. I will show you those guys, and he is just... this is such a beautiful fish. This is one of those fish where I think I want to eventually do a tank, a big tank, you know, something like a 240 or something, or like even one of those 300-gallon ponds. It's just like 50 of these guys because they're just so colorful and so beautiful. And even this boy, who at night you can see that little hint of color coming in. In the morning, this guy is an absolute lights-out fish. But he hates this camera, so let's get it off of him so he can chill out. Well, there you go, guys. There's a look into the Aleni Wapouga raising tank. Like I said, you know, there's another pair that are coming in, plus this pair that I'm going to collect eggs off of. I have a few more tanks that need to get emptied, which you'll see that over time as I kind of work through. And, you know, it's one of those things where once I get them emptied and have some room, I can raise more fry. And it'll basically be Bob's Bosemani and these guys that I'll be getting eggs from and trying to raise fry from. The goal is to get, you know, as many fish as possible, of course, but you don't want to overcrowd some of these tanks as they start to get bigger. Like, you'll see kind of this tank right behind me. There's a lot of fish that are getting kind of big, and they're getting moved shortly too, but we don't want to overcrowd as they start to get large. We want to make sure there's plenty of room so that we don't run into any issues. So here's what I'd like to know in the comments from you guys below. Of all the fish that I have, if you were to breed one of the fish that I have, any one, what fish would you want to breed? So it doesn't have to be specifically rainbows. It can be the guppies. Sadly, it cannot be zebra plecos because I don't have those anymore. But what I'd really love to know from you guys, you know, is it Bob's Bosemani? Is it the Leopoldi angelfish? The Shelleys, because you're Sean and you're the super Shelley guy. Is it these Aleni Wapougas back here, these beautiful, beautiful fish? Or maybe it's something a little different. Maybe it's the Kochu Tetra. Maybe it's some of those Corys that I got from that adoption of that emergency tank breaking. I really want to know down in the comments below, of all the fish I have, which fish would you want to breed? If you did enjoy this video, this kind of like species check-in, you know, give me a thumbs up. Maybe you want something, maybe you want a more in-depth species spotlight. That'd be something else down below. I'd love to hear in the comments. If you'd like to know more about these particular fish, or maybe any particular fish that I keep. The brain only fires so well late at night. Carrying fish around. Anyway, maybe there's a fish you'd really like to know. With these tanks, are, you know, it's kind of simple, so it's more a slight highlight on that species of fish and their color and stuff like that, and not so much like a, you know, here's a million plants and all that kind of stuff, right? They're very, very simple tanks. So let me know down below, which of these fish would you want to keep and breed for yourself, or if there's a particular fish that you would like me to do a species spotlight on. I want to hear that from you guys down below. If you can't stand these tanks because there's nothing in them and they're dirty because you're right before water changes, feel free to hit the thumbs down button twice to let me know how much you hate the video. For those of you who can appreciate that a working guy doesn't have perfectly immaculate tanks like all the aquascapers, and they're maybe closer to something you keep at home, maybe consider a little subscribe. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and stay awesome. Just a short note at the end of this video, for those of you still watching after the credits, just a reminder, November 9th, starting at 9 a.m., the Greater Seattle Aquarium Society is holding an auction at the White Center Eagles location, and I'll have a little thing with the address will come up and block my face here. But if you want to come hang out, talk fish, and just relax, maybe get some sweet deals on plants and fish, there's all sorts of stuff that's going to be there, including, I think, some like Tom Bar Manzanita, stuff like that. Come on down. It's free to enter. You don't have to be a member in order to bid on things. You only have to be a member if you want to sell stuff. But there will be things like, pizza and stuff to eat and beverages, and more importantly, you can hang out and talk fish with me. Please do not hesitate. If you decide to come down, come up, shake my hand, say hi. I love meeting you guys in person. I really want to talk fish, and maybe I'll bring my camera equipment and we'll do a short film with the fans of like a dream tank scenario like we did at AGA. Stay awesome, guys.